Welcome to Table for 92, element number 62, samarium. It's number 62 because it has exactly 62 protons within its nucleus. For samarium, we're cooking up some mouclade, a wonderful French mussels dish to celebrate the discoverer of samarium, a man born in the Cognac region where this dish originates, Paul-Émile Lecoq de Boisbaudran. Samarium, though, is absolutely fascinating and used in a surprisingly wide range of things. By the way, I'm going to revert to Boisbaudran as Lecoq. It's just easier to pronounce, and also this comes up in the story a little bit later. As for the mouclade, it is delicious and beautiful, a curry spice mussels dish that is really unique in like the taste and the preparation. I haven't really done something like that. Fun fact here, if you want a really authentic recipe from a foreign country, go to their official government website. Like seriously, I found so many great recipes from France.fr or Sweden.se, but you know, it's so much better than finding some recipe some schmuck on the internet wrote that thinks they can cook. This recipe comes from a dude with 3 Michelin stars, like the bear is trying to get. My fishmonger, like he checks out all of this, but you know, I always double check just in case. So yeah, this one's a little open. If you tap it and it doesn't close, it means the mussel's dead. That one closed, we're good. So first off, samarium has no biological role in the human body and is relatively harmless, but we have found some really important uses for samarium in the past few decades. But let's start in the beginning. This story is pretty interesting. Samarium is supposed to be the first element actually named after someone, a mine official named Vasily Samarsky-Bikovets, who discovered a bunch of interesting minerals and allowed German chemists to study them, one of which they decided to name after the nice mine official, Samarskite. So this mineral, Samarskite, will become more important later on. But anyway, the eventual discoverer of samarium, Lecoq, was a fascinating dude, like a scientist who could never have existed in the modern day. He was largely a self-taught scientist who conducted his own experiments in his own laboratory. Lecoq came from a wealthy family in Cognac in western France, and I bet for sure he feasted on mouclade at some point in his life. His family were actually formerly extremely wealthy landowning nobility, but their fortune had pretty much disappeared during the French Wars of Religion because the Lecoqs were French Huguenot, not the majority Catholic in France. Still, Lecoq's father started a successful wine business, allowing young Lecoq to spend his childhood in very serious scientific endeavors. And he really had his mother to thank for that, though. She was the well-educated one, extremely well-educated, and she passed that on to her son. And as that family wine business prospered, Lecoq did spend some time in an actual university where he gained, you know, some of the knowledge he would need to set up his own laboratory at home, where he would end up making his most important discoveries. But like I said before, like this could not happen today, this kind of education. Like from a tiny bit of university education and a whole lot of reading, Lecoq was able to recreate a functional laboratory along with a spectroscope that he would end up discovering 3 new elements with. The modern spectroscope was invented in 1860 when Lecoq was 22, and he quickly built his own in a homemade laboratory. And remember, Lecoq didn't have that much university education, so he wasn't like in the know, the right clicks. Like, I mean, he did have some friends in the academic circles, but he was, you know, pretty much working independently and recreating experiments he just read about. He pretty much dedicated his life to study. He did marry, but never had any children. I actually read one biography of Lecoq de Boisbaudran that described him as the last descendant of the house of Boisbaudran. So the elements he discovered, you know, this is real legacy. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, rare earth elements are not that rare. For example, samarium is the 40th most abundant element in Earth's crust. That's more than tin, and tin's everywhere. It just takes a lot more knowledge and a lot of energy to separate the rare earth metals from the minerals they're found in. This has led to a really confusing history of their discoveries. It really would make a good mini-series about these chemists working in pre-electricity times, how they were able to disentangle the unbelievably confusing web web of lanthanide elements. It started 35 years before Lecoq was even born, when cerium was discovered in 1803. The first chemists to discover cerium had it all wrong. What they had thought to be a single new element would later be shown to have a bunch of different lanthanide elements still bound together inside, just hidden from view. It would take some serious science to wrestle them away from their strong chemical bonds, though. Lecoq was able to discover samarium by first isolating what he thought to be a new element from the mineral samarskite, which he measured on the spectroscope and determined to be a new substance. While he was right, there was a new element with an atomic weight of 150.36, Lecoq fell into the same conundrum as others working before him, working on those rare earth elements. From his sample of samarium, both gadolinium and europium were later discovered. So again, he thought he found one element, but hidden inside were two others that were later found out. The reason I wanted to call Paul-Émile Lecoq de Boisbaudran just Lecoq is one, yeah, it's easier to pronounce, and two, he may have actually named an element after himself, which is a big no-no. Gallium, the first element Lecoq discovered, is supposed to be named after the old Latinized word for France, Gallia, which also happens to mean rooster or cock in modern France. Like the rooster or cock in modern-day France is a national symbol. The French national soccer teams have the rooster on their jerseys. While Lecoq denied having named the element after himself, he must have realized the similarity. Anyway, if Lecoq did indeed name gallium after himself, that would have been the first element actually named after an individual, but since he claimed he didn't name it after himself, the first element to be named after someone was samarium, after that minor Russian mine official whose name was used to describe samarskite. So yeah, the first element to actually be named after somebody, not Marie Curie, not Albert Einstein, not Yuri Gagarin, not even Glenn T. Seaborg. Nope, it was Vasily Samarsky-Bikovets. I mean, Samarsky did allow other chemists to study the minerals he discovered, but like, I don't think that merits being the first element to be named after somebody. To be immortalized like that, I think you should have done a lot more than given permission to study a mineral ore. I mean, that's just me, but like, it's a secret of the universe. Please. Today, though, samarium is quite important, as are all the other rare earth elements. It helps to make some of the strongest magnets in existence, specifically samarium cobalt magnets, and that's the reason the rare earth elements are so important for technology. In speakers today, magnets are used to create an opposite magnetic field, to create vibration that create the best sound. So the speakers in headphones and smartphones and smart TVs, they all have rare earth elements or lanthanides in them to allow for that great sound. Plus, this led to the miniaturization of speakers. You know, that's the reason we don't walk around like giant boom boxes anymore, which I actually kind of miss. Like in the 90s, that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, AirPods are a lot nicer. Beyond the smart technology thing, the radioactive isotope of samarium, samarium-153, is used as a cancer treatment drug that specifically treats bone cancers to kill cancerous cells. It's pretty wide-ranging stuff samarium's used in. While samarium is used in other applications such as fancy carbon arc lighting, probably in the lights that are making me look all pretty right now actually, I do find it nice that its two main uses are both ways making people happy, listening to music and podcasts, and in pain relieving and cancer killing medicine, and of course making me look pretty on camera. Fantastic. Thank you. See you next time.